You know that feeling when you're just stuck? Like really, truly stuck? That's what we're diving into today. It's something we all go through, but we don't really talk about it much. And we're going to explore how sometimes the quietest moments are actually the ones that show us the way forward.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about a word, litany. Now, you might hear that word and think of a long list of complaints, but for what we're talking about, it's something a little different. Think of it more like a personal chant. It's that story or that belief that we just repeat to ourselves over and over again. And, well, it kind of starts to shape our whole reality.
So, that brings up a big question, and I'm asking you directly. What's your litany? What is that thing you've been telling yourself for years, that belief you've carried around? And here's the kicker. Take a second and really think about it. Is it even true anymore?
All right, to really get what I mean, let's look at the actual personal litany that sparked this whole conversation. It's a perfect example of that little voice inside our heads, that internal monologue that can keep us feeling totally stuck.
Okay, listen to this. This right here, it really nails a specific kind of fear, doesn't it? The anxiety that comes from being still. It's this deep belief that if you're not constantly climbing, you're not just taking a break, you're stuck, permanently, at as good as it gets. That's a heavy story to tell yourself for sure.
So you can imagine, a belief like that creates this huge internal battle. It's a constant push and pull, right? On one side, you've got ambition, that drive to do more. But on the other, there's this really deep hesitation, this apprehension just holding you back.
And this is exactly what that internal tug-of-war looks like. You got ambition over here shouting, "Come on, keep pursuing things, dare to push, get to that next step." But then fear is on the other side whispering, hey, slow down. What if you do too much? What if you get knocked off your feet? And what if, this time, you just can't get up again? You can see how that becomes a totally paralyzing cycle. But here's the really crucial thing to remember. That fear, it's not just you. It's not some personal failing. It is absolutely universal. I mean, everyone who's trying to do something, to achieve something, feels this. The people who seem to be moving forward, they're not fearless. They just feel that same fear and find a way to push anyway. It's just part of the whole process. Okay, so if you're stuck in that fear and you can't just take some giant leap forward, what do? How do you navigate that stillness? Well, the answer isn't to just try harder or force it. It's actually about a much more gentle, patient process.
And here's a 4-part strategy for that. Number 1, step back. Seriously, sometimes you just need to take a chill pill when it all gets too heavy. Number 2, baby steps. Just moving a little bit, even back and forward, is still movement. The swings don't have to be huge. 3, collect your milestones. You have to acknowledge your progress, no matter how small it feels. And finally, number 4, wait for the right opportunity. Stay alert, keep looking, and be ready to ride it out when it comes. When you start doing this, something else starts to happen. It naturally leads to this bigger shift in how you see things. It kind of forces you to step back and rethink your whole definition of success and regret and failure for that matter.
And it all comes down to this one powerful question. If I end up with nothing, will I really live with regret? I mean, think about that. It completely challenges that deep-seated fear we were talking about. What if the worst-case scenario actually happens? Would you truly be filled with regret? And the answer that came back was pretty surprising. Probably not.
So why not? Well, it's because peace doesn't come from winning all the time. It comes from knowing, deep down in your heart, that you did the best you could. It's realizing that you took on opportunities even when you felt like you were standing still. And the goal, the real goal, shifts. It's not about that frantic climb anymore. It's about finding work-life balance. It's about trusting that, yeah, things are getting better, even if it doesn't feel fast.
So you've got this new strategy, this big shift in perspective, and all of it leads to one final, really powerful breakthrough. But it's a breakthrough that can only happen when all the other noise finally goes away.
And here's the core of it all. Silence isn't emptiness. It's clarity, you know? We're so used to thinking of silence as this void we have to fill with anything. Noise, action, distractions. But what if we've got it all wrong? What if silence is actually where we find the answers we've been looking for? And that brings us to this incredible idea. Sometimes the loudest part of your journey is the silence that finally lets you hear yourself. Think about that for a second. The most important voice you'll ever hear on your journey is your own. But you can only really hear it when everything else gets quiet. That's the moment your true priorities, your real definition of success, all of it finally becomes clear.
So, I want to leave you with one last question to chew on. We spend so much of our lives chasing the next thing,
terrified that standing still means we're failing. But what if we've had it completely backwards this whole time? What if finding that place of calm, of quiet, of balance, what if that isn't just a pause on the way to success? What if that stillness is success?